Today we're going to talk about the strategies you can use to become a good decision maker. Hi, it's me, Linda Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregivers with love, laughter, and lessons learned. Today I have with me Dr. Brittany Lamb, and we're going to talk about some of the strategies for you so you can become a good decision maker.
Hey there, I'm Dr. Brittany Lamb. I'm an emergency medicine physician, and outside of the emergency department, I work online with dementia family caregivers. I help them anticipate and learn and create a plan so they can make medical decisions confidently on behalf of their person with peace of mind. So, I want to talk with you today about some tips that you can use and strategies that you can use as someone's medical decision maker. So, making medical decisions on behalf of any other person is not a super easy thing to do. It's stressful. We all want to make our own medical decisions. But we know that people living with dementia will eventually not be able to do this. And usually it happens in the middle stages of disease. If you think about it, it's quite a complex task to make medical decisions. You really have to understand what's actually happening to your body and the situation that you're in. You have to be able to weigh out the pros and cons and risk and benefits of all the different treatment options, including not treating something. You have to be able to apply those treatment options to your own situation and make a choice about what's best for you. And then you have to be able to communicate why you're choosing what you're choosing. So it's not an easy thing to do. It's a complex task that a lot of us take for granted every single day. And so as someone's medical decision maker, knowing that you're the medical power of attorney or you're the family member who's going to be making medical decisions on behalf of your person, it's really important that you know that your person's not going to be able to do this at some point, and that you create a plan for how you're going to make medical decisions on their behalf. And that's what I teach online. One thing is, you want to know when you can actually speak on behalf of your person. So in the earlier stages of disease, a person's still able to make their own medical decisions. Most people are. Now, I want you to realize that when someone is sick, so when we are sick, we are all at risk of not being able to make our own decisions when we are sick. And then that term, being able to make your own decisions, is called capacity. Okay, so when people come into the emergency department and they're very, very sick, I have to determine whether or not they have the capacity to make their own medical decisions. Most of the time, people are able to, but if someone's really, really sick with a high fever or they're critically ill, they may be delirious, they may not be able to make their own choices. And we are all at risk for this. But people who are aging are at higher risk, and people living with dementia are at higher risk. So your person may be able to make their own decisions about all kinds of things on a day-to-day in the earlier stages of disease, especially. But if they get sick, they may lose that ability. They may also just want you to help them make medical decisions, and that's totally fine. But technically, when you can make medical decisions on behalf of another person is when they have lost capacity. So you can lose capacity one day and then have it the next day. But if your person's unable to make their own choices, that's when you would be able to step in and choose on their behalf. And that's what these documents say. So medical power of attorney forms, healthcare surrogate forms, healthcare proxy, there are different names in different states, but medical power of attorney is a very, very common one. So that's what it says, is that when someone loses decision-making capacity, their medical decision maker, the person named in that document, is able to step in and do that for them. So, as someone's medical decision maker, there's really one main rule that everyone should follow. I call it the cardinal rule. And that is that you have to remember that you're speaking on this person's behalf. So, you are choosing what they would choose if they were able to speak for themselves. And the other big thing that I think that people kind of forget and lose sight of is that you have a healthy brain. So you are able to take in new information, you're able to learn, you're able to apply that information to your person's situation and then choose like they would choose if they were capable of doing those things. So I think sometimes people forget that as we go through life and things happen to us, we have different experiences, we sometimes change our minds. We might at one point in our lives say that we want to have to make certain choices, and that those are our values and goals and preferences. But as our life progresses and as we go on and we're aging in life, and maybe as our quality of life is impacted by a disease or a condition, we may change our mind in what kind of care and treatment we would want. And so, I want you to remember that you're speaking on behalf of your person, but that you are capable of learning and applying the information that you learn to the situation that your person is in now. Okay. So if you speak for your person as they would speak, knowing all of that, knowing that they could change their mind and update their plan and update their goals of care, that's all you can really do. Okay, that's your job, and that's what you're there for. I think the one thing that I hear people say that directly goes in misalignment with that is when people say, I'm not ready to let them go. I've had lots of patients that I've taken care of, and I point blank ask their family member, would your person be okay with the way they have been living? Not just here in the emergency department, because we know people are at their worst in the ER. They're often suffering from some condition that we may be able to do something about. But like, how has the person been doing the past weeks to months? Like, how have they been living? Would they be okay living that way? And family members will tell me, no, my person wouldn't want to live like this. And then I tell them, I have to push back a little bit. Well, it's not about you. It's not about us when we're making choices for someone else on their behalf. It's about what they would say about how they've been living and what their wishes would be. So that's the cardinal rule. That's what we need to do when we're tasked as, with this important job of making medical decisions on behalf of someone else. And the third thing I would tell you all is that it is possible to make an individualized decision plan for your person. This is what I teach and this is what I advocate for, because people are over relying on advanced directives, thinking that they're going to tell them what decisions to make in the moment, and that's just not true. We know that your person living with dementia is going to lose their ability to make their own decisions. And we know the medical issues that come up for people as they live with dementia, with diseases causing dementia. And we also know what happens to folks as they get older. So we all are at risk of certain medical emergencies like stroke, like heart disease, atrial fibrillation, blood clots, all kinds of things, infections, sepsis. As we get older, we're all at risk of these things. So we know your person's not going to be able to make their own choices at a certain point. So what I advocate that folks do is actually sit down and create a plan for how they're going to make decisions based on the conditions their person is at risk for. So it's an individualized plan, and it can be updated and changed over time, and it's for you to use on behalf of your person. It's not a legal document or something that needs to get turned in. So that's what I teach inside of my course, and that's what I teach online. If you would like more information about how to create an individualized medical decision plan for your person, and you want to kind of get started in the planning process, I highly recommend that you download my free audio training. And it's the 5 steps to take to become a confident medical decision maker. And it talks about how to make an individualized medical decision plan. You can get to that on my website. It's beliummd.com. The very top of the website, it will say download my free audio training. You put in your email address and then it'll be emailed to you.
Thank you, Dr. Brittany, once again for all your great advice. Tune in next week for another tip brought to you by Arden Courts, where all they do is memory care, and have a delicious day.